Welcome to the Hello Lovely podcast. I'm your host, Christy Williams, and I teach women how to be themselves. As an exclusive life coach for women, I'll teach you how to manage anxiety, make decisions you're confident in, and stop beating yourself up. So let's get started. Hello, lovely. Today I have a special guest on the episode, and I am so excited for you guys to meet her. I first met Jenny as part of a business mastermind for coaches around the world, growing our businesses and serving our clients at the highest level. And after seeing her work and just who she is as a person and as a coach, I had to work with her. After working with Jenny, she completely changed my knowledge of food, my perception of food, changed the way I view my body, and now I feel confident and sure when I'm eating and when I'm going out. If you've been in a place where you don't feel confident about your body, or you feel like it should be different, or you're just over it with diets, you will love what Jenny has to say. As a nutritionist, she teaches the science behind food, which is actually so simple. And she helps women to create their unique shapes using a combination of nutrition and building muscle. I wanted you to be able to have an insight into the way she thinks, the way she works with women to help them feel bold and confident in making choices for their nutrition and bodies that they really want, even if people don't understand why, even if it's different from what other people are doing. This matches so well with self-esteem that I cannot wait to just get into the interview with Jenny. So here we go. So I am thrilled to have my special guest and fellow coach, my nutrition coach as well, Jenny Blake, on today. What's up, Jenny?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so glad you're here. So first, Jenny, before we get started, if you would just introduce yourself and share who you work with and how you got started.
Yeah, so I am Jenny, the nutritionist is my company, and I work with type A professionals who work out, and I work with them. I'm a nutrition coach, and so I have a nutrition program called Create Your Shape, where the goal is they want to look like they work out. They're already working out, they're putting in the effort. They're putting in some effort when it comes to nutrition too, but they just don't have the tools and the understanding for people like them, for ladies like them. And so through the program, we achieve three things. We change their body composition, building muscle, decreasing body fat. They learn and understand the nutrition strategy. So really feeling empowered when it comes to nutrition, and then create a sustainable routine. So a nutrition routine that runs on autopilot is going to serve them long term. So you have been a very successful Create Your Shape lady, and someone who I've loved working with, and really I feel like you've completely took everything that I taught and just amplified it like you do and got so much out of it. But yeah, that's who I am and what I do. And I'm excited to just dive into everything.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to getting your thoughts on body image and self-image and just how that all ties into what you feel comfortable going for, whether it's socially or even work, like your dreams. Sometimes the view of our bodies and food can hold us back from so much more than what we're eating.
100%.
Yes. And Create Your Shape. Yes, that's Jenny's program. You heard her say that, which is such a beautiful name. I think that was one thing that kind of was oh, what is this? I was like a magnet, drawn to it. It was Create Your Shape. That is so more refreshing to me than lose weight. Like that is the only goal, right? It's ooh, there's something beautiful into the purpose of losing weight when we choose to, so we can create our shape and reach healthy places for our bodies. So it was a beautiful program. I've been through it a couple times. And for you, especially in nutrition and working with so many women, do you think that the relationship with food plays a role in what someone chooses to go for? What is your view on that?
Yeah. So I would say that a lot of my ladies come to me and there's nothing severe going on, right? I would say in general, they're healthy in terms of the relationship with food, and they may not be attracted to something where it speaks about, solve your relationship with food or thing like that, because they think that, oh, no, I've got it. They just need to be, and kind of like we were chatting earlier, they just think, oh, no, I know what to do. Like, I've got this. I just need to be stricter, right? I just need to be better, right? And so they think that it's not an issue, and they think that it's good. And in comparison to some other diseases, things out there, they are totally fine, but they don't see that there can be such a room for improvement and a way better relationship with food, because in their standpoint, they're like, oh, I'm good with food. I just need to do better. I just need to be stricter. I just need to do more.
Stricter, right? Like, and I think that word is so powerful when it comes to body image, just because we're so strict on ourselves with what we should look like. Like, it's very hard to meet yourself where you're at when you think that you should look like something else, like already, or some other person, like, and so like being strict is like almost kind of beating down yourself. I feel like, like if you have like a really strict, there's not trust there. Like, I have to be strict with you because I don't trust you. So it's like, the way I feel, at least in my personal experience, was like, I need to be strict with food because I don't trust that I'm doing it right. Right. So I feel like what you said, like, covers a large group of people. It's like, there's some women that feel like they don't have a good relationship with food, and some do because they're strict.
Yeah. And I think that it all comes down to, yes, there is the mindset aspect 100%, but I also see a large gap in just the knowledge, right? Because if all you know is, I need to eat clean, I need to eat less, right? And that's what determines success. If you're not doing that, then you're beating yourself up, right? And you think that's the only way. Where really, once they gain the knowledge and they understand how your body works, how nutrition works, the strategy and the actual balance from a science perspective, it gives you so much more confidence to make decisions. And then therefore, you're actually implementing something that's giving you a direct result versus like, well, I'm just going to be stricter and see what happens, versus being in direct control over your results. Just the confidence shift there from like your day-to-day decisions to your like shape to the bigger picture to knowing exactly what to do just goes so much further.
I love that. And it's I feel like being able to trust yourself to eat more, which is something that Jenny really teaches, is the science behind food, is like not restriction, but how the view of their own body, like their body image, like influences like how comfortable they are, like when they go out.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's been ladies that I think you might have seen where they're posting selfies in the group of them dressed up for dinner, right? Or them at a bikini on the beach, right? And where they might have worn that same thing beforehand, but the difference is how, like, even in their their positioning of how they're posing. And the perfect example is like, you did a photo shoot, right? Where you look so fierce and so confident, just from how you're feeling inside about yourself. And I think you mentioned this earlier about like just how this impacts how you're showing up to work, or something that triggered me, where I was like, I remember somebody joining, and then in one of her check-ins a few weeks or months in, she said, my managers came into my store today, which normally I thought it went okay, but just the confidence that I had in that meeting, right, is going to potentially lead to promotions or whatever it may be, because of how I view myself now. And that is something that I was like, that is huge. That is everything.
Yes. Yeah, like, even you said it so beautiful, I want to repeat it, is like you said, how you feel inside about yourself. It's really what it comes down to. Do you think that sometimes we feel like as women that our body image, we can only like it if it fits like a certain standard, like that others have set?
Yeah. And I think like the example that I have is, I remember in high school, Victoria's Secret was like the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, I'll never be that tall little thing, right? Like I'm petite and I'm very short and I have, some muscle. I was always an athlete. So I was like, oh, I'll never be that. And I kind of viewed that as what beauty was. And luckily, after college, I got into CrossFit, where being strong is what is beautiful, right? And having muscle. And so everyone idolized that shape. And so then I realized, oh, there are different shapes that different people idolize, and it can be really whatever you think is sexy, right? It could be, there's tons of different ways that this can look. And then when I started doing bikini competitions, I remember I actually was on a podcast and somebody asked me, like, what was your desire? Like, why did you feel like you needed to do that? And I remember being like, oh, I didn't need to do it. Like, I felt good where I was at. Like, I just wanted to see what was possible and what I'm capable of. And that was super powerful. And in that moment, I was like, yes, there is so many different ways to define beauty, to define sexy, and what that looks like. And you get to choose, and for your own shape, right, you get to choose. And so doing those bikini shows really is how I created the name Create Your Shape, because what I learned from that is you have the ability to literally create your shape. If you want more defined or like broader, not even broader, like a shoulder cap, right? Or defined arms, right? Or like stronger, thicker legs, or like big, juicy booty, right? Or maybe like lean, like tight definition legs, right? Like you get to choose all of that. And one exercise that I've done and I've talked about with my audience before is, if you think about a swimmer, right? Like their body shapes are going to be different than a gymnast compared to a, volleyball player, compared to a runner, right? And there's all these different shapes that every person has the ability to decide, what do I want my shape to represent? And then can go from there. But I think what you mentioned earlier, which I think is so important, is starting from the place of like, I'm good where I'm at. Like, I don't need to do any of this. Like, I could sit in this body as is, but once I get to that place of like, yeah, I'm good, but I want to see what I'm capable of.
Totally. I love both of those together, and so many gems in there. So yeah, even going back to when you were sharing that for the bikini competition, like I didn't need to do that. I was like, that's what made it so much fun. And even working with you in nutrition, it was like, once I love my body, then I started working with you. Like it was at that point that's like, I don't need to do this. I want to.
Mm-hmm.
You asked that powerful question, like, okay, I don't need to do this, but what do I want? What do I want for my shape, right? Because building that cap, right, creates more muscle that helps speed up your metabolism, right? It's like when you're getting stronger, it has a physical payoff that you can see, but it also has an internal payoff. Like it's not just a muscle, right? Like all of the things that building muscle does.
Yes, 100%. It's like, okay, like we tie so much of like, oh, nutrition, oh, fitness to just benefiting how we look, which yes, it has that capability, but also just like you said, when you are building more muscle, when you are fueling yourself, when you're eating enough, when you know like that you're getting the nutrients you need, you are going to be so much healthier. And we're talking about like your hormones, your hair, your skin, your hormones, right? All of that. Like I just had somebody share a group like, oh, my nails are so much stronger. They used to be brittle. And I'm like, that's your body getting the nutrients it needs. Imagine what else it's doing in terms of like PMS symptoms. Like I know like blood pressure, like all of that, right? So that's like the health side of it. But then when you have that muscle, right, just injury prevention, right? I've had ladies been like, oh, I can pick up my kid now and swing them around, or I can we moved and I was able to get all these different boxes, right? Or knowing that in the long term, like when I'm 60, 80 or whatever it may be, like I'm still going to be like crushing it
Yeah.
physically. And so it's so much more than just I'm going to like look good. Like that's, I feel like just one minor part of it compared to also the health and the strength and then the confidence that comes along with that too.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I know for me, even starting the program, like a benefit that I wasn't expecting was my blood pressure to drop. I had been going to the doctor over the last couple of years, and it was probably when I started restricting my calories the most, is my blood pressure flew up, and I've always had low blood pressure, like just so low. I've always been so proud of it. And, for the last couple of years for it to be high, it was like devastating. I thought, it's because I'm 40, right? Or reaching 40. Oh, it's because I have a slow metabolism. It was like all these things that seemed to make sense. But as soon as I started considering that maybe eating more after working with you with the science of food, that I could get healthier, what happened is 2 weeks after like working with you and learning how the basics of nutrition, eating more, you guys.
Louder for the people in the back.
That's not a mistake. Eating more, like I eat about over 1,700 calories a day now. My blood pressure dropped. And I remember the nurse saying, "Whoa," she's like, "your blood pressure is amazing." I'm like, "Is it?" And I knew immediately it was from eating more. So I told her, I'm like, "Hey, I started eating more. I'm not eating 900 calories a day. I'm not like fasting all day or like skipping a whole 24 hours of eating. I'm eating." And she's like, "I don't know why it's working." The saddest part to me. But she's like, "I don't know why it's working, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, I will."
Yes. That's a whole nother discussion we can get into. But something you said too, that we talked about earlier, which I think would be interesting to get your perspective on more, is maybe how you viewed yourself beforehand and how you view yourself now, just from that like mindset perspective or that mental perspective. I know one specific thing you said is beforehand, I was like, "Oh, I'm not sexy. I'm not an athlete." And now viewing yourself as an athlete and viewing yourself as sexy, like how just the mental shift in that, how that has impacted just your day to day or your results.
I love that you brought that up. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, working with you and now, like if someone were to look on the scale, it's like, that's why you can't rely on something like this scale to tell you how great your body is, right? Like it's like the scale has a purpose, it's data, but it's like setting that aside and looking at like the health of my body, the strength of my body, the muscle I've built. It's like from the get-go, it's like how I used to view my body was, maybe I'm not sexy enough, right? Like maybe I need to change this first so I can be sexy, right? It was like acknowledging like, "Hey, no, I am sexy. And what do I want? Oh, I want to get stronger. I want to tighten up my booty. I want to be strong for my 40s, 50s." Yeah. So it was like the mentality before was like my arms, like if they jiggled, I would just feel devastated, like they shouldn't. Like I was telling myself, your arm shouldn't jiggle. Like, this needs to go. Like I remember looking at my thighs and being like, when you get smaller, right? Or looking at my belly and being like, it's too big, right? And then after like kind of changing from my own coaching matched with your program, it was like I look at my body how it is, like it's in progress, it's like in beautiful motion, but in the moment of the day I look at my arm and I'm like, this is exactly what you should look like. Hey, beautiful, right? And I touch it and I squeeze it and I jiggle it on purpose, and it's like relearning. It's like, oh no, who told me it shouldn't jiggle? Right? Like my belly, like I look at it and I'm like, you're supposed to be here right now, right? I'm taking care of you, and look how beautiful you are, right? It's like in those moments when you do care for your body and you love it where you're at, all you want to do is take care of it versus hating on it because it feels like you have to, because maybe there's a standard that somebody else said or you heard or whatever, however it came from, where it feels like you shouldn't be this way right now. and that you can't be happy with your body or love it until it changes.
Yes.
And I just think that takes all the joy away from these amazing, beautiful bodies that only have our back. Right now, what about my body do I love? There's really so many things. Like I remember even Brooke Castillo saying one time, like for her when she was on a journey, was, sometimes it's hard to look at yourself if you haven't thought you're beautiful or you need to change. Like it's been practiced and it feels so true. It's like, well, I have a body. Right. And for me, it was like even another level for that. It was like, I have a body and it's working for me. Like right now, my body has muscles. My body is burning fat. My body is breathing. It's digesting. Like it's doing all this work and I'm not appreciating it. And that's my first job.
Yeah. And I think something you called out there that so many people don't realize is like you already have muscle. Like you already have so much muscle in your body that really, and I actually got, the official data scan done, and probably, so I would say like normal me without like additional muscle, right? And then adding the additional muscle, the normal muscle is like 90% of it, right? So it's like, oh, I already have the muscle there. And if you squeeze your arm, you'll be able to feel it.
Yeah. Isn't it fascinating? I mean, for so long, I don't even remember how many years I was like, I don't have muscle. I don't have any muscle. It's a total lie.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't, it makes sense why, because it's just things we've heard and practiced so long. It feels super true, but really it's like when we think I don't have muscle, it feels very hard to create muscle.
Yeah.
Like I gotta find muscle from somewhere because I don't have any, right? Versus
it feels so distant when really it's already attached to your body, right? And it's like, oh, it's just a couple things, and that's how it grows. Like for you, when you shared earlier, you're like, when I finally gave my body like the nutrients it needed, it's crazy how quickly it responded and how quickly I grew even more muscle.
And it was fun to see, even when going on vacation, like I had established a routine that's just part of my lifestyle now. I love my workouts because I don't have to do them. I do them because I want to. It was always been that way. And I was just telling myself a different story that felt true, but it's like I went on vacation. I didn't work out the exact same, right? But you always say you are your average. I love that. Y'all hear that? You are your average. It's so powerful. It's like one day it's not going to throw you off. One day is not going to, even 1 week, right? But just that week when we were running around town and I was doing a lot of walking, but I wasn't doing any weightlifting. Like I could tell, like, there was a little more jiggle, and I was like, I love you, jiggle, right? Like it was just acknowledging, like, you're here for a reason. I know exactly why. And I love you, right? Like not in spite of, it's just, this is what happens when this is what my week looks like. And I still love you. And as soon as I got back to doing the workout, it was like, boink, like immediately it was like my abs popped right back out. And it's like, it's almost like you can make it a fun surprise with your body. You can make it like this beautiful game where you're like, hide and seek with your muscle. Like maybe if you're on your period and you feel a little fluffy. I think the biggest thing is taking the step back of the big picture of your body, who you are. You're not just what your butt looks like. You're not just like what your arm muscle looks like. Like you are a whole person, and your whole body is going to have a whole experience, just like you have a whole emotional experience. Sometimes you'll be feeling positive. Sometimes you'll be feeling negative. And it's like the physical body goes through different changes too. Sometimes you'll be fluffy. Sometimes you'll feel tight, but it doesn't mean something has gone wrong.
And I think that's really important to call out, because I knew back in the day, I definitely thought that once I get there, then I am just shredded all the time. And that's not actually what happens. It's not what happens at all. I do think there's like a trend line up, right? Or a trend line of change where you have the ability, right, to create your shape and it change and be your new settling point and sustainable for a long time, 100%. But within that trend line, it's almost like the heartbeat, like line that goes up and down, right? Where within that, there's going to be periods of like up and down. within that trend. And that's intentional. And many points you want that. So for example, when I'm building muscle and I'm eating enough and building muscle, I'm breaking down those fibers. When I'm breaking down those fibers that are then going to be with enough food nourished and to repair and grow back bigger and stronger. But during that time when they're broken down, that causes inflammation in my body. So my body's saying, hey, we've got broken fibers over here, bring more nutrients, bring more water, bring more blood, which then when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I'm going to look a little fluffier, right? So I'm going to look a little fluffier during that time frame. But because me and my ladies, we understand how that works. We're like, oh yeah, of course. I know exactly what's happening right now. I'm looking a little fluffy. Man, that workout must have been good. It's working, right? So I'm like making progress towards that upward trend or that creating my shape. But within that, there's going to be that up and down period. And it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, good days and bad days. It just means, oh, I'm looking fluffier because it's working from a science perspective.
Yes, my body is working, right? Like our body is got a lot of stuff it's handling. Like, let's give a moment of celebration for like all the stuff our body is doing like right now.
Yes. Yeah. And in addition to that, another example is, let's say you go to a baby shower, right? And have a cupcake, right? And we know you are your average. Yes, exactly. You know, you are your average and your body represents weeks in months. And same thing, if you take the average from like actual math and you include even over 1 week, you include a cupcake over 1 week, that's like barely putting a dent in that average. And so if you go to that like baby shower and have that cupcake, right, that your body is going to get a little inflamed from having a little more sugar than normal, or maybe having dairy, right? And same thing, it's like, oh, my body is just working to decrease that inflammation and to like flush out all of this. And then within a couple of days, it will be gone, right? And it's just going back to really knowing your body and knowing that, oh no, it's actually working for me. Like I that's great that it's doing that. And feeling really like confident in that versus what maybe I used to do in the past. I'm working out so hard. Why do I look fluffy? Right. And it's just the lack of knowledge that I had.
Yeah. Like in that letter that I wrote to myself, and if you guys want to hear that, that's on another podcast. I'll link it in the show notes. But the love letter to my body is I would get mad at my body for doing what it has to do, because I didn't have the knowledge of why. I saw a result that I thought I had to hate, right? Because I learned it from somewhere, or I was just so used to seeing it and thinking it was wrong, right? Like a little fluffiness or bloated or a pimple. And then instead, once I realized, oh, these are little cues from my body. My body's trying to tell me some things. I need to rest. Right? Or don't eat dairy. Like when I would break out like on my chin and I'd hate my body. I shouldn't be breaking out. And what I realized was like, my body loves me. Here's a clue. Something that you ate isn't working for you. Right. And so it was like having some love for where that's coming from, working with your body. Your body is working for you. And when you can work with it and just see, oh, why is this happening? It's not because I'm ugly or it shouldn't be happening. Something is going on, and it really helps make it a discovery to like even grow that relationship with yourself even stronger.
Yep. And going through those time frames where maybe I'm intentionally building muscle and I actually want to, like where I'm at now, I want to put on some body fat to maximize the amount of muscle, right? It could be like that. Or it could be like just like I shared earlier, those little spikes and those little days, right? But knowing that it's funny because those changes feel so huge to us. And I think what really helped me with that is knowing that, like, I used to think that for me, it was other people and what other people would think of me. And then I realized that those little changes, nobody else notices at all. And so they were really like, it was just me being so observant of my body. And instead of pushing that like as a negative against me, turning it into like deepening the relationship of understanding my body and how it's working and what it's doing and why.
Yeah, it as you were describing it, even made me think of a relationship you would with another person. When something feels a little off with them and you love them and you know who they are, you wouldn't jump on them and be like, you shouldn't be off, right? It's like, tell me what's going on, right? And it's kind of the same thing with your body. It's, oh,
yes,
this is what's happening right now. And we can like totally love on it. Like, I feel like I really even just now want to call this episode like body love. I think it's really what it is about, because I think it has less to do with the image, understanding like what your body's doing for you. It is on your side, and like that being okay to love it back, even if it doesn't look exactly like someone else's, right? Especially because, right, like these are my hips. This is something I got to say now, is like, I used to like, when my hips get smaller, I love these hips, right? I am glad these hips are this size, and these are my unique hips. This is my shape. Like, they shouldn't be someone else's shape, right?
yeah, yeah. And I would too take it even further of questioning where you got the idea, or whoever is listening to, like where the idea came from of wanting it to be different, right? Is it because you saw somebody, right? Is it because an ex-boyfriend 10 years ago said something about something, right? Where is that actually coming from? And then digging deep in that and questioning that, because I think kind of what has been beneficial for me is being in these different, I think, groups where really seeing how beauty is different. And for me, I know that was like hearing what other people were saying, or what other people idolized, or what people liked, and all of that. And that would influence like, oh, what my shape should look like. But then after being in all these different groups and kind of trying, just being adventurous in terms of trying different activities or different, types of groups or whatever that may be, seeing it time and time again, after the third group where there was a different beauty standard, I realized that, oh, you can pick, if people can pick any of these, then I can pick what I actually want on me. And so really like digging deeper and questioning, why do I even think this?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's looking at, what do I think of my body now? That's a great place to start. What do I think about my body now? If there's anything that feels it should change, first, looking at why.
Yeah.
Why? Maybe it's something that actually is beautiful that you love if it wasn't measured up against someone else's standard.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something that you still do want to change, wonderful, and you absolutely can. And you can also have body love now.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I had thought to ask you is, for the episode, was, what do you think holds women back from, and this is very broad, so it wouldn't be every single woman, right? But what do you think holds some women back from having body love, like exactly where they are?
A lot of things. Let me think of like the most common one. It feels like to me a couple things. Like the power, like having that power first, and then the second thing is knowledge. So for example, I'm thinking of a handful of ladies that I've seen where they're constantly chasing for something else because they don't want to be where they're at now. And then my most successful ladies have the same thought of like, I'm good where I'm at, but like, I want to see what I'm capable of. Like, I like the challenge. Like, I'm really like, they are getting more into the journey of it, and all of the little, the little things that they notice, or the joy of the new recipes they find, which I feel like that's how you are, right? You're like, we're not obsessing over, oh my gosh, am I down another pound or anything like that. You were like, ooh, I made this food and it was so good. Or, oh, I noticed when I like stood up from my chair, I could kind of feel my glutes, like just loving the journey of it, versus constantly focusing on, I'm not there yet. I'm constantly putting themselves down. And so I think that's the first one of like really being like solid where they're at and having all of the power to be like, I'm ready, like just attack, like approaching it from a very powerful place, I would say would be the first one. Anything to add on to that?
Yeah, it made me think of another question is when you notice that, because we're human and we do this, right? When you notice that a client is coming to you and they are downing on their body, right? Like they are saying things about themselves, like criticizing their bodies. Like, what is your guidance for them? What guidance would you share today?
Yeah, I would like to have my ladies get out of the emotions and into the data and the facts, because I think we can be really, we're emotional beings, right? It's just how we operate, and that's not a problem, but we don't want to be making decisions from that place or sitting in there or thinking that's the truth. And so really seeing it, like identifying it and seeing it and being like, okay, here's why I think this, here's what I'm feeling, and really seeing it and being like tender with it of like, yeah, I'm a human, that's okay. But then from there saying, all right, I'm going to set you aside. I know you're there. I'm going to set you aside. And let's just look at the facts of actually what's happening. Oh, okay. I actually have, 2 pounds more muscle, or actually I'm over the past 3 weeks, I've gone up on my weights, meaning like I'm doing, I was doing 5-pound shoulder press and now I'm doing 12-pound shoulder press. So that's telling me like, yeah, you're putting on muscle there, right? And then just really looking at like, okay, what else is happening? Oh, you had the baby shower, you had the cupcake, right? You actually were trending, like you're trending overall the way we want to see it. This is just one point in time where the cupcake just has you inflamed for just 2 days, and then it's going to go right back to where you were. I see this a lot too for ladies that like, oh my gosh, I completely blew this week. It was awful. Again, speaking from emotion versus like what actually happened. Give me the numbers and the days and the amounts. And when you pull that out, it's like, oh, actually, I did great 5 days this week. It was 1 day here, which actually I probably was like pretty close. I just had this one thing that was different. And then this day, okay, yeah, I had X that put me over this, but that's actually only 1 day. Right. And so that's my suggestion there is like honoring your emotional being, but also just really looking at all the facts and deciding to make decisions based off of the facts.
Yeah. And I loved how you always approach the coaching that way. It was like, okay, so what actually happened, right? Instead of being like, yeah, you do stink, right? Like I have definitely worked with coaches before that were like, whenever I would say I'm not working hard enough, they'd be like, yep. Right. Like, or if whenever I would be doing everything I would be doing. And that's why I learned how to be strict. Right. But it was, they were believing, they were jumping in with my emotional story and being like, let's look at the facts, right? Like no one had ever done that with me before you. Right. So I would almost be surprised when I would share with you what happened. You're like, yeah, okay. You're like, yeah. Like this is okay. And it was because it was almost, I was looking for permission. I didn't realize that I could even do that for myself, right? Like that I could be like, yes, of course it makes sense that you ate that and it wasn't even bad. And it's not like you shouldn't have, like, of course you had a cupcake at the shower. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
What's next? It was like, oh, it just helped me to just see I'm not a terrible person because I'm going to eat like a human being. Right.
Right. It's like, yeah, you probably had mimosa too. Yeah. That sounds pretty normal. Yeah. Oh, you feel a little inflamed now. Yeah, that's normal. It'll be gone in 2 days. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like noticing how we talk to ourselves is just as powerful. So it's like whether you're working with a coach or you're working as your own coach, which I highly recommend working with a coach, and definitely look Jenny up. We'll put her stuff in the show notes, but someone who's on your team and the way that what you love about how they teach, be that coach for yourself. Right. So if like your coach is like, okay, so let's look at the facts. You can do that for yourself too. You don't even have to wait for permission to be like, was this okay? It can always be okay. And just look at the data.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from there, how does this impact my overall average? Big picture, step back. Would I do anything different? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, oh, you give yourself a lot more freedom that you actually have. It's like, we're just taking those freedoms away and being strict on ourselves because it feels like we have to succeed. But really what I have found is the opposite, is like when you give yourself that freedom and you can look at the facts, you're a lot more comfortable. You don't even need to be strict and have strict rules.
Yeah, I think a lot of times too, and this goes directly into the second point of the knowledge, where a lot of times ladies beforehand will be, oh, I don't know about the scale or weighing myself, like that just, I don't like that. And it's funny because I'm like, okay, totally get that, but we're actually going to break down the scale so you don't look at it and immediately have an emotional reaction. You're going to look at it from a science perspective, have the knowledge, and then from there you can, assess how you want to feel about it. And then by the end, I always have ladies that want to weigh themselves daily because they are like, oh, I know exactly this happened and this happens, that's changing this, and this happens, that changed that. Okay, I got it. This makes sense. And it's just a completely different relationship when you get away from it being an emotional reaction versus oh no, let me look at the science and the data from it. So I've had a lot of ladies experience that where they're maybe even beforehand they were obsessed with the scale, or they don't want to look at the scale, either or. And then by the end, the obsession loosens because they're like, oh, it's just data and it's going to fluctuate every day. And because of this, and that. Or it's like, oh no, this is kind of fun. I kind of understand it now. I get it now.
Yes, I love it. This has been so great. I'm so glad that you came on today. Just to I want to see if you've got any final thoughts, but I have a question too. I wanted to kind of bounce off of you as we kind of wrap it up, is if there was something that you wish that the listeners just knew, like you want them to know and be confident of this, 100%, whether it's about their bodies or their relationship with food, what do you think that would be?
The first thing that comes to mind is that it's so much easier than people think it is. I remember doing 2-a-days in the gym, sometimes even 3-a-days, and thinking, oh, if I could just squeeze in one more workout, then I'll have the shape that I want. Or if I could just stick to less calories longer, I just need to be more stricter for longer, right? That would be it. And thinking that was not even questioning there was a different way, just thinking that's the only way. I just need to be better. And it's so much easier than that. And it really comes down to working smarter versus harder. Back in the day, I was working so much harder and doing so much more. And now I do so much less, but everything I do is so much more intentional, and really understanding it from a scientific perspective also makes me feel less drama about it and more just, oh, I know exactly what to do that's going to get me results. And it's so much easier, not only from on my physique, but also on the mental daily mind drama. Yeah. It's so much easier. So that's probably the number one thing, is it can be so much easier if you're in that place.
Yeah. And it's so much more fun, having gone through it. I love eating. I love my body. I love working out. I'm still a human. So it's not like this, it has to be even forced. It's just now it is so much fun. It's this love of the knowledge because what you're doing is working. It makes it really simple and fun. And it really is the same even in emotions, with the clients that I work with too. It's we sometimes want to make things more complicated because it feels like we need to harder. But I feel in coaching, we take the complicated out. It can actually be simple. It actually is simple. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to come back to those simple basics and let it be easier than we think.
Yeah. And I really saw that. And this is probably what you teach your clients too. I saw that on how you executed in the program, right? You were able to remove any mind drama and then kind of separate them out. But then also being able to be very clear on your mind drama that you wanted coaching on, right? Yeah. And so I think having that skill made it so much easier for you. And so it's awesome that your ladies get to gain that skill too from you, because it makes so much, everything else in your life so much easier.
Yes, absolutely. So what Jenny's basically saying is you need to hire both of us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta say, like having self-esteem and understanding your emotional health paired with the knowledge of your body and nutrition is, wow, it's just a beautiful place to be, and it is available. So any final thoughts that you wanted to share, Jenny, that we didn't cover today?
I think the only other thing is that I wanted to share is about this going to the self-esteem and being bold. Being bold is something that I teach because it definitely is a part of it, because health is like being healthy is going against normal, right? The average American currently is not healthy. And so what's influencing that is everything around us, right? Like the way our day-to-day works of we sit all day and then happy hours, or you go to an event, it's expected that it's treats and all of that, right? Or going out to eat and loyalties, right? Everything that is around us like isn't helping us there. And so when it comes to being healthy, like you have to be bold to make decisions, right, that are different than maybe the average. And it's not saying that you can't have any of that ever. But again, going back to you are your average. And so you have to make decisions that are different than the average. And that takes being bold. And so that's a part of it, right? We're going to the self-esteem part of it. Having the self-esteem to be different than other people, right, is another part of it too. So I just wanted to add that in there because I know that's the topic, but I feel like it shows up in so many different ways when it comes to your health.
Yes. Oh, man, you just dropped that bomb. That is so good. It's so true. And I appreciated you sharing it even as a client when we were working together was, listen, there's going to be things that maybe people don't even expect you to say or do, maybe that you've been doing differently, and you're going to be bold because this is different from what everybody else is doing. And self-esteem is definitely a huge player in that. And it's the same even in self-esteem with boundaries and what you say yes and no to. Is like, it may not always be the answer that people give their full support, and it is what you want to do, right? So it's like being able to step up and be bold and be like, this is what I'm doing. Right. And it's like no one else has to do it or change. It's just like being okay, being bold with that you're doing it because of the benefits behind you. And what's super fun is you end up getting support, right? Like the support ends up finding you when you are bold, right? Like you end up finding the people who are like, oh, I actually want to do that too. And
or they start looking up to you and being like, hey, wait, what are you doing? Can you tell me? Or, can you guide me or help me there? 100%.
Yeah. Oh, so Jenny, this has been so good. Thank you so much. I'm going to link in the show notes where people can work with you, but do you want to give them a heads up on how to do that?
Yeah. So my Instagram is Jenny the Nutritionist, and my website is jennythenutritionist.com/create-your-shape. So you can find me at both of those. And of course, I'm always adding value on Instagram. And then my Career Shape program enrolls a few times a month or a year.
Yes, absolutely. You definitely need to get on there, follow Jenny. And actually it would be so fun for you to scroll through her feed and see her story. We didn't even get a lot into that, but it's really fun. So thank you again, Jenny, for coming on today. I really appreciate it. And thanks for teaching me all the beautiful knowledge as this foundation on nutrition.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
So good, right? There were so many gems in the episode. I'm sure you'll be listening to it again, but I have linked Jenny's contact information in the show notes. Hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Hey, lovely. If you want to be more confident on the outside, you have to start on the inside. If you don't take time to create an amazing relationship with yourself, it will show up in every other area of your life. If you feel stuck or don't know how to be yourself, I invite you to work with me one-on-one. Go to MissChristieWilliams.com and sign up for a free call to join my 6-month program. That's MissChristieWilliams.com, and I'll see you in session.